Hey guys, this is Introducing Emmy, and we are doing another Redline Tuesday. It's been a little while since I've done one, so I figured, it's about time. So let's get right on it. We're doing 4 comic pages today from Kuotani at kuotani.deviantart.com. There is her link. Go there. Hurrah. Here are the pages. I actually picked her last 4 that I could find, because I figured that would be, that's where she is. I figured if I went back and critiqued like her first pages, well obviously she's improved since then, so she'd be like, yeah, duh, I get it, So, alright, let's get right to it. One of the first things I noticed is that the pages are all formatted a little differently, and, like gutters are different sizes sometimes, and, well, mostly, these gutters to these gutters. And also, I think the text is formatted a little differently depending on... Now, I could be totally wrong. I don't have her source file for these comics. But you should make sure that you have pretty even looking pages to each other. And you should always look at them next to each other. I usually try to do, like, if this was the book open and this is the spine, I like to see which page will be on the left and which page will be on the right. Alrighty. So, let's see here. It would help if I could get a little closer. Thank you. Alright, so I can definitely tell you're going for like a hybridized manga style, where that she is. She uses a lot of manga style techniques in her work. Sort of the tall bubbles are a big clue. Now right here, this is something to be aware of. The tail of the bubble is actually going to her breast or her chest. It would probably be a little more conducive for it to curve up more or to be higher so that it's really coming from her mouth. I'm just checking on. I know you're doing a manga style, but generally, doing really tall bubbles like this, with English text can sometimes look confusing. But, it doesn't look too bad here. I would just, keep that in mind. Because there's a lot of switching between vertical and horizontal bubbles. Let's see. There's no tail here. I would say try to always remember to have tails coming off your bubbles. Like that. And, she's like, the story real quick for you guys is that, this character with the pink hair here has woken up and she is in a magical moving bakery. And so she's like really shocked. So you might wanna, draw some, I don't know what you call them, those shock spikies. Cause she's like, holy fucking shit, moving bakery, so. Well, maybe not that bad. And maybe also, this might be more of like a retro anime thing, but really, I like to do more like trapezoidal shapes on my shock marks if I'm working in manga style. You don't have to. I always say it. You don't have to. It's a recommendation. So, that looks pretty good. I would even say I love when characters come outside the panels. I'm sorry, it's lunchtime and I'm hungry and I'm spacing out. You could probably even lower that more. Aw, hell, you could lower it down here. Well, that might create a little bit of tension. Aw, shit, dog. I would totally do that. Yeah, I think that would actually look really good. I don't know. It's up to you. Emmy, stop saying that. Um, did I get pages backwards here? This was just bigger. No way. Oh man, that is so cool. Okay, so another thing here I noticed is she is sort of unfurling her jacket or her shawl behind her. This is why I got confused, because in the next panel she has it wrapped around herself. And then I'm pretty sure she still has it wrapped around herself there. And then in your fourth panel on this page, she's back to holding it over her shoulder. So I would just keep that in mind, so that your character movements aren't stretching too far or too short beyond panels. So here, oh, and real quick here, the perspective is a little off on the boat. The bakery's on a boat, you guys. Guys, it's on a boat. So I was just gonna say the perspective's a little off, and the quickest way I can think of fixing something like this is building a model of the boat in Google SketchUp, which could be difficult, so I don't know if you'd actually want to do that. But it can help if you have like a really complicated set or prop that you have to keep repeating. And I plan to do a tutorial on that because it can be really helpful. Same thing goes with like buildings and stuff. Okay. So let's move on here. So in this panel she goes, oh man, that is so cool. But I'm looking at the back of her head. So she could be like, oh man, that's really neat. Or she could be like, oh man, that is so cool, but I can't tell because I can't see her face. So, I would recommend for panels like this, because I'm assuming you still wanted to show these three. Let's do, shut up, I'm doing something. Quiet. All of you. I'm the boss. I would have her be like, I would have her not draw with red, or I'd have her draw with red. Okay, there we go. I would have her be like, I'd have her be like, oh man, like, oh, holy shit, flying bakery, cupcakes that fly! She's like, oh, Jesus. And like, have the text bubble here, and you could even put like little stars and hearts in the text bubble. And then like, show these three kind of like off to the side, you know, like, cause they seem not wholly impressed. I mean, I could be wrong with this panel. I'm actually a little confused here because she's like, oh man, that's so cool. Then it shows them standing, and I think they're still walking maybe and approaching her. Oh, it's to show these two guys coming up. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna angle these guys. And we're gonna show her kind of like, yeah, it's really cool. Bakery flying, you know, that's what we do. Bakery flying. And these two guys are just coming in. But however you do it, I would make sure that you can see their faces. Also here, you're creating kind of a tangent. Okay, so like, let's say you have a bunch of, so you're doing like horizontal, vertical lines, okay? You don't want to have horizontal, vertical lines in your comic. Now, everybody has some horizontal and vertical lines in their comics. They're unavoidable. However, here, you could have maybe showed, sorry, I have to keep making new panels. So here, maybe you could have done it more like, so this is the rail of the boat. Maybe you could have had it coming in more of like an angle, and she's like, instead of her, just standing there, because you want to show significance in the fact that these two guys are walking up. because if the characters don't care they're walking up, then the viewers won't. So, I would say here, if you didn't want to completely redo your layout or your plotting, I would say have her be like, you know, like, oh. And then show these two guys coming up. This guy's stretching. Classic Animu stretching. He's hip thrusting into this guy. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Okay, so they're coming up. And then she goes, wait a sec. Like that. These two panels together, I might not do an angle like this. I would just cut it. I actually think this looks better because I know you're probably going for a little bit of drama here with the angle. That's fine. But because it's against a paused panel, not pause on pause, a paused panel, you want their line to be straight because they're just like dot, dot, dot. So, I would say straighten that up and, let me get my emo hair out of my face. I'm trying to think here now because I think I ruined the pace. And she's like, "Oh man, that's so cool." And then they walk up, and then she goes,